And it doesn't just work with energetic ideas or constructs. It also works for physical things too. Sometimes these could take a little bit more time, but more or less we're able to, pull that stuff out within, just one session, which was what this is.
Welcome back. I'm here again with Benton Ryer. What we're going to do today is a little bit of an experiment. And now, first of all, if you're new to this channel because you saw the thumbnail and you're here for healing, we're going to get to that. But before we get to that, my current audience needs to understand what we're doing here, because this is going to be a little bit different. It's still going to be an interview, but I'm going to run an experiment. So, Benton, can you kind of just give folks a background of what you're about to do today?
I am going to do a purification of the energetic bodies. You'll hear me speak some Japanese. After that, and I get that current flowing, I will go silent and it will continue to work. We are calling on the heavenly and earthly kami. This is not an energy healing. We're not calling source. It's none of that new age stuff. It is ancient and is very old. It might predate almost everything. So that's basically what we're doing.
What would the Western equivalent of this be when we talk about kami? Is it like nature spirits, elementals, something like that?
To an extent, but they're all under the command of Amaterasu Kami. And when she gives order, they all respond.
Okay. Now, just to tell the audience, by watching the video the moment that you start, Benton, people are showing their intention. If you don't feel comfortable with this, once we get started, I'll just say now's the time to commit or to walk away for people who might be super religious or something, whatever it is. But I want to give people the chance to opt in and or opt out if necessary.
So I want to say to that, this is a purification. We are not putting anything in you. We're not shooting anyone with energy. We are pulling stuff out. And if you all of a sudden feel anxious about this, that might be a telltale sign that something needs to go. So I implore everyone, no matter how religious they are, to give this a try. And it doesn't just work with energetic ideas or constructs. It also works for physical things too. Sometimes these could take a little bit more time, but more or less we're able to, pull that stuff out within, just one session, which was what this is.
So what you're saying is there's no risk for folks who...
There's no risk. There's no risk,
Okay.
However, this does pull out trauma too. And what happens with trauma is when we experience it, it distorts our worldview. And when our worldview is extorted, since the kami only deal with truth, then they come and correct it. And when that processes, there might be a feeling of almost like a deep depression almost. However, after a day, less than a day, then you'll have kind of an uplift in your energetic body or in your energy in general.
To advertise on Through a Glass Darkly, email throughaglassdarkly@gmail.com.
Now, how many times have you done something like this, and how many people have experienced the energetic healing?
A lot. I do my own group every night at 8:30 p.m. Pacific right now. The time's subject to change from time to time, but the number of people doesn't matter. It doesn't really matter if it's live or not. Some people tend to get more if it's live, but it doesn't honestly matter.
So people watching the recording, which this will be...
It's about presence. Yes, it's about presence. It's not about distance or whether something's happening right now. If someone's focus is present within this anchored ability, the kami will respond.
Okay. And what traditions does this stem from? Is this based on kind of your own?
No, it's Shinto. It's Shinto.
Yeah. Okay. By the way, I knew that, but I wanted to make sure for people who just joining.
Well, a lot of people don't know what that is, right?
Yeah. Yeah. So just quickly, what is that?
Shinto is the indigenous type of spirituality in Japan. It's not a religion that you join. It's just something that is there.
Okay. Now, how does this work? What's the mechanism by which it works?
So basically, I invoke Amaterasu's presence, and through that, I'm giving her urgency, and the kami respond.
Okay.
The words I say in the beginning, the translation is basically by order of Amaterasu Kami. She commands the kami to gather and start the great words of purification.
All right. Are you ready to get started?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Amaterasu mi oyano kami no mizu maru no inochi terashi kuni shizuka nari. So for those of you participating, relax, lie down. Amaterasu mi oyano kami no mitsu maru no inochi terashi kuni shizuka nari. Pay attention to your body, observe, but do not react. And also pay attention to your thoughts and see what comes up. Amaterasu mi oyano kami no mitsu maru no inochi terashi kuni shizuka nari. Tata amahari ni kamazamarimasu. Kamerami no mikotomashite. Sumemi oyakame. Izanagi no okami. Tsukushi no himeka no tachibana no ondo no awagigahara ni misogi harai tamaishi toki ni haremaseru. Haraido no okami tachi. もろもろのまがことつみ返りを。払いたまい清めたまいと回すことのよしを。あまつかみ、急につかみ、夜ずの神たちともに引っ越しますと。かしこみも回す。たがあまはりにかむずまります。かむろぎ、かむろみのみこともして、すみみ、おやかむ、いずなぎの狼、つくしの、ひむくの、とちばなの、おどの、あおぎがはるに、みそぎ、はらい、たまいし、とぎに、あれませる。はらいどの、狼たち、もろもろのまがごとつみかいりを。はらいたまい、きやみたまいと、回すことのよしを。あまつかみ、けにつかみ、夜ずの神たちともに引っ越しますと。かしこみも回す。たがあまはりにかむずまります。かむろぎ、かむろみのみこともして、すみみ、おやかむ、いずなぎの狼、つくしの、ひむくの、とちばなの、おどの、あおぎがはるに、みそぎ、はらい、たまいし、ときに、ありませる。はらいどの、狼たち、もろもろのまがごとつみかいりを。はらいたまい、清めたまいと、回すことのよしを。あまつかみ、急につかみ、夜ずの神たちともに引っ越しますと。かしこみも回す。どうすの神、あまていらします。すみみ神の身胸を伝えて教え導きのたまわく。人はすなわち神とのもとの主たり、何時らの真知の痛ましむることなかれ。このゆえに目にもろもろの風情を見て、心にもろもろの風情を見ず、耳にもろもろの風情を聞いて、心にもろもろの風情を聞かず、口にもろもろの風情を言って、心にもろもろの風情を言わず、身にもろもろの風情に触れて、心にもろもろの風情に触れず、心にもろもろの風情を思とも、また心にもろもろの風情を思わず、この時に清く潔きことあり、もろもろのなるは影と形のことし、清く清をければ気が出ることなし、ことをすらばうべからず、皆花よりずの身とはなる。我が身はすなわち六根所女なり、六根所女なるがゆえに、ごぞの真空兄なり、ごぞの真空兄なるが、ゆえに天地の神と男なり、天地の神と男なるが、ゆえに万物の霊と体なり、万物の霊と体なるが、ゆえになすところに固定成就せずということなし、無常霊法、真珠仏教、天上無休、名誉入賞、神が列、払いたまえ、清めたまえ、守りたまえ、先はいたまえ、照らしたまえ、導きたまえ、仲間の腹にかむずまります。せめ神たち、いやわらしたも、特殊の水の宝持ちで、あまている国てるひけ雨の明かり、消したま、にぎはやひのことに。続けたもこと教えてのたまわく、今しこの水の宝持ちで、中つくにに雨下り、あう人ぐさ沈め収めよ。あう人ぐさおよび、夜ずのものの病のことあらば、かめたからもして、見からいた沈めに起きて、見たま沈めの祭りを、なして水の宝を振るべ、そのかむほぎの言葉に曰く、木のい木のと、火のい火のと、土のい土のと、かのいかのと、水のい水のと、皮膚によいむなやこと 逃げのとくるべゆらゆら。かく祈りせばまかりともさらにきらとしても。雨の神の身をやみことのりかきとめて、雨の岩国にのりて、河内の国の川上の光る画面に天下りましまして、大和の国、引きの山のふもと、白庭の高庭に移しましまして、いつき、祭りとも、なぜけいて、いすの神のお神ともしたて祭り、よよ神たかのもして、よれずのもののために、ぐるべの神ごともして、つかさなしとげのふるの御霊の神と、うやまいたて祭り、すめみことおむらじおどろその神とききをもして、いつきに近い祭りとも、もののびの神のやしろ、雨がした。よれずのもののてごいなり、いてのと神たからは、いわゆる、おきつ鏡、いつ鏡、やつぐの剣、いく玉、だる玉、まかるがいしの玉、しいがいしの玉、おろちのひで、はちのひで、キスキスのもののひで、さらにとキスの神、木の木のと、木の木のと、土の土と、かのかのと、水の水のと、ひふみよいむなやこといのとふるべゆらずゆらかしたてまつる国のよしをもちて平らきくきこしめせと命長く子孫羽時はかきわに守りたまい先はいたまいかじたてまつり人生人妙心にきかじ Everyone breathe, relax. Tokami, emitamo, kangon shin, son nikandaken, harai tamai kiyami tamo. Let the energy work. And continue to relax. And let the kami work it rather. mahalにかむずまります。かむろぎ、かむろみのみこともして、すめみおえかむ、いざなぎのおかみつくしのいまくの立ち花のおごのあわぎがはるに、みそぎ、はらい、たまいし、ときにありませる。あらゆるのおかみたち、もろもろのながごとつみかいりょ。あらいたまいきよめたまえと回すことのよしを。あまつかみ、けにつかみ、よるずの神たちともに引っ越しますと。かしこみかしこみも回す。たかあまはりにかむずまります。かむろぎ、かむろみのみこともして、すめみおやかむ、いずなぎのおかみつくしのひむくの立ち花のおどのあわぎがはるに、みそぎ、はらい、たまいし、ときにありませる。あらゆるのおかみたち、もろもろのまがごとつみかえりよ。はらいたまいきよめたまえと回すことのよしを。あまつかみ、くにつかみ、よるずの神たちともに引っ越します。かしこみかしこみも回す。たかあまはりにかむずまります。かむろぎ、かむろみのみこともして、すめみおやかむ、 イザナギの狼、つけしのひまくの立ち花のオーロの青木が春に、みそぎ、払い、玉石、時に、あれませる、肌色の狼たち、もろもろの中ごと住み帰るよ。払いたまい、清めたまいと、回すことのよしよ。天つ神、国つ神、やお、夜ずの神たちともに引っ越しますと。かしこみ、も回す。かんながら、つまちやませ。かんながら、つまちやませ。かんながら、つまちやませ。And there you have it.
Now, how are you feeling now after you did that?
A bit lighter. I could either focus outward or I could focus inward. There's a little overlap, but for the most part, that's what I'm doing, why I'm doing these. So that's why I don't have to be I don't really necessarily have to be in a trance or anything like that. All I have to do is say the words. Whereas if I'm doing an internal type of misogi or purification, then I turn inward and call the kami inward.
What sorts of things should or might people be experiencing after?
Well, they might feel warm. They might be tingling. They might feel some pulling sensations, or they'll feel very, very relaxed. Some people like to say, well, I'm relaxed because I was sitting there. But no, it's different. Think a little bit more of it. We are in this space because we're trying to find truth. And while we do that, we find a lot of very dark things. However, no one's really in touch with any solutions. And this is one of those solutions. So I think it's important for people to give it a try and explore it. And because there's a riddle I was told by Hakami Ramitinasu some time ago, is if the blizzard is hot and the fire is cold, in which direction does the flag unfold? Do you know the answer?
If the blizzard is hot and the fire is cold, in which direction does the flag unfold? I'm thinking it would fold toward the fire, right?
It unfolds in the direction counter to our expectations.
Yeah. So the expectation would be that it folded away from the fire, right?
Sure. Yeah. Well, usually fire is not cold and blizzards aren't hot, right? So that's where that wordplay comes.
Now, for in terms of how I felt, I was definitely radiating heat. I also felt and still feel a ringing in both ears.
Okay, that's basically the sun burning away impurities, or the metaphysical aspect of the sun burning away impurities attached to the energetic body, which also block our clairaudient ability to hear the other world, which we are naturally supposed to be able to do.
And what's the ear ringing? I can understand the radiation of heat, but the ear ringing.
That's basically, in this case, it is the sort of first symptom of clairaudience, opening or building clarity.
What other effects might people feel?
We basically just described a bunch of them, but warmness, coldness, sensations of pulling, some pressure, easement of pain. It all depends on what's going on with the person. Ear ringing. They might feel their stomach swishing around. So there's a bunch of stuff that can happen. They might have visuals. If they're already clairaudient, they might hear some things. They might feel like a pin pull, like a sharp pain coming out. Yeah, that's all I can think of right now, but I'm sure there's more.
All right, so for folks who listen to this, please in the comments, because again, I mentioned at the very beginning, this is a bit of an experiment on my part. If you can put what you felt in the comments, if you felt something, and just for other folks to see and comment, please do that. Any final words for the audience?
No, that's it. I think we went over everything.
All right, Benton, as always, an absolute pleasure. Thank you, my friend.
Thank you so much.
If you enjoyed today's video, please hit like and subscribe, and also hit the notification button so you can be notified whenever I post new content. Thank you. Now, if you're enjoying the channel and you want to support it, there are several things you can do. In fact, there are 5 things you can do. The first thing you can do is just buy my books. I got plenty of books out in the market right now, and I would prefer that folks buy a book rather than giving me direct support, because they get something out of it. They get a real tangible product. The second way you can support me is by becoming a member on YouTube or becoming a patron on Patreon. And just go to either site and it'll explain everything. The third way you can support the channel is by checking out my merch site, which is here. There's plenty of stuff that you can get to support the channel. And I'd appreciate that you have it and you can wear it. Not only do you help support the channel, but you also help promote the channel, and I appreciate that. The fourth way that you can support the channel, and this is really easy, is anytime you want to buy something on Amazon, literally just go to the description below and click on any link, literally any link. The channel gets a cut of that, and it costs you no extra money. You just go through the link, as I'm part of the Amazon Affiliates Club. The fifth and final way you can support the channel is through donations. Now, I don't prefer these because it's more of an expression of gratitude, but you don't really get anything out of it as a subscriber to the channel. However, if you decide to do these options, there's 2 options. There's Buy Me a Coffee, which is a separate site, and there's also, you can go through YouTube with either a super chat, super sticker, or a super thanks. Again, I prefer Buy Me a Coffee because that organization takes less money than Amazon does. But either way, I appreciate any support you are willing to give the channel. So thank you very much, and keep watching. I really appreciate it.